you stay in your area. You wait till your national comes through. That's why I said about oversaturation. Sometimes you want to be very choosy in your area because then when the bigger bands come through that really can raise your stats, you already just sold.
That's the one thing with
those websites. 50 tickets 3 weeks before that.
Right. You've
So
already
then you
out.
right.
Yeah.
Is like ReverbNation.com and Polestar. I've been on them both, and the venue doesn't report any numbers. You put
have
the
to
numbers in
report
yourself.
You actually report
So
them.
there's
I
bands,
report
there's
them.
bands out there that are
putting the
reporting
numbers in.
insane numbers, and their stats are going through the roof. And in all reality, they didn't have 200 people.
It's like getting
You
multiple
can report
MySpace
your
plays by
stats,
yourself.
they will put them up.
Right.
Yeah, it's like pushing that play button.
Everybody's punching their numbers. This is the problem with those websites.
I think I'll go home and do that then.
Oh, yeah.
See, I was, we were, I can't tell you how long, we were #1 on Reverb Nation for Lehigh Bound.
And that's why
Depends on how many widgets you put out and stuff like that.
It's about
Information.
plays and hits and clicks.
It doesn't really mean that that's how many people are really watching
No,
you.
they
No,
won't. They'll
and-
do that
well,
'cause
my
they
point
put
was this. Do
hitters on
you know
it.
how many times I entered in numbers for how many people showed up at the shows?
Yeah.
Never. Never once did I enter. My mailbox is full of them saying, you got to put in, how many people showed up at the silo.
Who's
I
really
never
looking
fucking
at
did
that?
it. Never once, not one time.
The silo, writing silo?
Yeah.
Oh.
But just because you got great ratings on Reverb doesn't mean much of anything other than you've got a really hardworking band member that's willing to put those widgets up everywhere so people can hit on them once in a while.
Yeah,
That's what
a
you
hardworking band
numbers, like
A hardworking band.
Ever since I joined
My point is,
every band member should be
It's a
on for
it's
1
just-
hour a day.
offer for a gig on Reverb
1
Nation?
hour a day.
In
Should be on
Milwaukee?
for me.
Yeah, I get those offers all the time.
Cradle
Texas,
Field Tour.
Well,
Florida.
I can't drive
That
14
is
hours.
actually a
Can't
really good
guarantee
thing.
anything.
That's a really good thing that they do at Reverb Nation is they post at different festivals like New York,
hard. I'm really
Delaware,
Then
Florida,
again-
Maryland, and it's like a $25 registration fee, and you can go play this and get your music out to the
I haven't
Then
seen
again,
Well,
I
well,
got,
yeah, the thing
then
is,
again,
we'll
I
have
do
what you got to
manage
do
bands.
is you got to pay $25 to be
not like everything I've
considered.
submitted to in
That you
Europe.
don't get back.
But you don't
Don't
get
even
that.
bother with those.
Oh, shit.
No.
Then again, I do work with
Most
one
of those
band
are
that uses
very
Reverb
hokey.
Nation.
Oh, hell no.
Very, very.
It's-
I
You
work
got to
with-
remember this. The bottom line is whether we want to admit it or not, this is a business and people
Yes.
need to make money and there's
Money racket.
somebody's going to make money.
Yes.
And
It's
if there's
not
an
the band.
entry fee, if it's over $5, I don't even look at it.
Right.
I don't even look at it because that tells me if somebody needs to solicit out openly to get people to kick in $10, something ain't right. There's a
But
reason they
there's
need
no
to
way
do
around
that.
that.
There's a reason that whoever is making the solicitation needs to. There's a reason. Because like real big reputable organizations, they don't need to charge you to submit your stuff.
Well,
Those
they'll
are
actually have a self-contained tour too.
looked at
They
that
don't
one,
have
too.
the
The
openers.
original question
With
was
the
the
riots.
music scene. The problem with the music scene is what he just said.
Yep.
Business.
Mm-hmm.
Business.
It's business.
Bands
Main
don't treat
Street.
it like a business.
Right.
Bands need to treat what they're doing.
We see
as
the
a
penalty
business.
always did.
I think,
See,
Bands need
hold
to
on one
bring
second.
numbers.
You see the
They just
penalty.
need to bring the people.
Machine to Penalty originally, when we formed Machine to Penalty, it was based on a business idea and has been for now for over 3 years. We do really well at shows. With merchandise, through the roof. Like that's where we make most of our money. We don't make money at the clubs itself. We make money because we have sellable merchandise. And that's what's making us survive. That's what gets us the studio sometimes. It gets us a lot of things. Our banners. We put it back into the band. But I agree, it is a business, and if you don't treat it like such, you're done.
And
And-
such as
and-
contracts, 15, 20, hard goods, soft goods,
And
off
he
your
brings
merch.
up a really
You
good,
know? They'll
point,
take
which
it.
is they're not making a lot of money on the ticket sales or from the club. So guess what that means? Who's making the money?
Club.
The club's making a profit. So they make the profit on their merch. So it's worth it to them to get people through the door. The club wins because the club is not actually paying 50 or 60 or 70%
They're
to
just
them.
trying to make their business money.
Right, they're trying to keep their freaking doors open.
I
But
did
the
the
majority of
original
venues
metal
will take
shows for a
15,
year and a half
20%
over
off
at
of your
the
hard
RS
goods, soft
Club
goods
Yeah,
in
for your merch.
Woodland
Really?
here.
Yes.
Okay, wait, Adrian.
Yes.
Adrian's got the floor.
For a year and a half, we did metal shows every week, sometimes twice a week. And we had bands that would come in there and just bring 5, 6 people. We've had other bands where they brought 30 to 40 people. And I had bands that were making more money than me that night. I paid bands close to $300 to play a show there. It all depends on the bands, what they what they can do. You know, there's a lot of bands out there that do treat it like a business. There's
is,
too many bands that don't, that overshadow it.
It is
And
definitely
like these guys are
a
saying,
hustle.
with merchandise, if you get on any level of a national tour, if they break even, it's a miracle. If they keep
Thank
it close,
you.
it's okay. All the money is actually made from the merchandise during the tours. It's not the ticket sales. That's
right.
just about covers the expense for moving
All
the
your
equipment,
sound
everything
Yeah,
else.
that's right.
Now they're
Renting
starting-
systems
they're
here and
starting to
there,
take-
so
Because you
you
gotta
can't
rent
look
every
at
town
it
you
at
go
that.
to, you gotta
You
rent a
can't.
system and you gotta rent
Seven
engineering.
Fire
Now,
just did
now
their
they're,
tour.
now they're
And
starting to
that
take
is what it's all
33%
about.
of
It's a
your
business.
revenue.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
I work harder at this than I
Well,
do
well,
at my job, you know?
Well, I mean,
on
and
my
this is
own
something that
time.
not only Adrian and I have
You
talked
know?
about, but Bob and I have talked about, and you
And it
bring up
don't
a
end.
good point.
The
is
more success you get, the harder you gotta work, or you're
National
gonna be
Violins
gone.
are a great thing too,
the
guys.
trick is you don't give them
Do it
the
in
option
Violin.
of taking
It
33%
gets you
of your
exposure
merchandise.
right away.
You keep the rights to all your shit. It's like, okay, we'll bring people through, and you get a majority of the door, but everything else is mine.
That's like Adrian.
This shirt,
When we sell
you don't
something
get a cut of
on
this
your
shirt.
site,
That
how-
disc, you don't get a
nothing,
cut of
do
that
you?
disc.
You didn't
For you
make
guys,
that.
You
no.
get the door.
Huh?
For you guys, no.
You get
Yeah,
the door.
So
Hustle
we
contract.
get everything.
When you start signing your life away, you know, you're gonna attract more bloodsuckers.
Yeah, and they'll push you as far as they can. If
Absolutely.
they think you've got any green behind your ears, you're done for.
Chew you up, spit you out.
Yes, they will.
You know, it's what was the freaking Wasp album, the Crimson Idol,
Yeah.
talking about the Chainsaw Charlie and the Metal Machine, basically chew you up, spit you out. You know, we'll whore you, we'll bleed you for everything you got,
Yep.
because there's going to be another one coming. You know,
Don't
and if
ever
bands
have
do
any-
Next
Boy.
in line,
what
man.
we're talking about here, which is be a little savvy, approach it like a business, and it's not just looking at it as, okay, this is a business. It's, and I don't want to sound like I micromanage here, but you have to understand that I'm operating the business of Infernal Opera within the business of the local music scene, which involves the business of Hellraiser Music Group, and the business of Audio Alley, and the business of the Cherrywood, and the business of
We're all in this together.
exactly. But each person spins has their own circle that spins within the circle.
We can't be fighting each other.
Exactly.
And that's what's happening now.
Bingo.
That's what
Right.
that's why we are meeting today.
You know, and even at that,
That's
hearing
purpose
what's
of
going
it.
around
Yeah.
the room, and something that he and I are working and cooking up is if you can get together and a few people sponsor some things, and we do some showcases, regardless of who's where and who's signed
Right.
what in what area. We come to this area, you guys headline. Bring a couple of the other bands in the group and let them open up and get everybody together.
Right.
Right.
But you can't push it too much. It can't be more than once or twice a month. Then we can go to your area, then we can go
The
to
same
our
thing.
area, and everybody takes a turn.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's about exposure
You gotta
and
try to
playing
stay
a better
within, like, a
place,
month
because I'm tired of
before you go
playing
anywhere else.
the bowling alleys and wherever, you know what I mean?
It's about
Wow.
same thing that,
You're
that
burning people out.
Right,
What's
yes.
that?
Bob mentioned it, and
Yes.
Adrian has
Yes.
mentioned it.
Can't
It's
go back
about
into the same
Giving the
people.
floor to somebody.
And everybody pushing each other in that area. You know, come on out, see these guys, you know, good friends of ours, let's do this, let's get some support out
it's
here.
bands supporting bands.
Yes.
That's what it
We're
is.
ahead of our time, Mike.
You know,
I
bands
think,
supporting bands.
I think
It
the
makes me
main,
leave. It makes me
the main
slave.
issue here is
No. Say support.
we're not getting paid right for our art, you know, and it is art and it is business that we're trying to do with these venues and stuff. And I think we need to work out some kind of deal with the venues where we can control, you know, have a little bit of control over our scene. You know, like a band discussing with like if at the Cherrywood, like Machines would go and say, hey, look, you know, we bring in numbers all the time, you know, we want to be considered, you know, and we want to be definitely put on every month, and we'll bring in the other bands or whatever like that, because
Sherman's always
You
been
know,
like
not-
that.
Yeah, he's always been good like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, he's like if I can call David and say, hey Dave, listen, I want this night, you know.
Mhm.
No
I
problem.
got 3 other bands I want to bring
Always
with me.
helps good.
Lauren,
And
who
that's
couldn't
not,
make it here today.
and it's not because you're a real nice guy.
Yeah.
It's because
Oh,
you
it's
guys,
good,
it's because you guys have done the work. You've
Well,
proven
we've-
that you're a commodity. You
You had
did,
the
you put in the
numbers.
time. You know,
What
you put
Lauren's
in the
doing
sweat.
down at Grand Fromage, Lauren couldn't be here today. Lauren Fearless has an entertainment group down there, and she's booking Grand Fromage in Atlantic City. Her deal is now, she splits money equal at the door. One thing about the Cherrywood, which was always very nice, is the deal at the Wood was, it was $5, what band are you here to see? I'm here to see Fleshings, I'm here to see Infernal Opera. They put a little check mark on the paper at the end of the night. Hey, you guys had 20 people, here's $100. You guys had 35 people, here's
It's fair.
your cut.
It is fair
What Lauren's
because
doing is
there
taking
is
that
harder
cut
working bands.
across the board.
They'll
She's
put
not putting it down for
billboards,
any
they'll
band.
go
Right,
ahead
This
and
is saying,
bring
if I
bands.
made, I made
bands.
$450
There's
to
no
do it tonight,
minimum
I had
order.
4 bands here, here's $110 a piece.
Right, we're
I think
splitting it
it's
evenly,
very
you
fair.
all
Just
get
really,
something.
doesn't matter where you're from.
But
Exactly.
what I think that one of the things that we're missing here is exactly what you said, is when you do end up getting in a venue, what are you gonna do with the time that you're allotted? I mean, like, take advantage of it, like he said, merchandising, there's also other things, you know, promoting and all that other stuff for your next gig and all that other stuff. I mean, everybody's like, once you get in, what are you doing? Like you said, if you're able to bring in 35 people, great. If you're only bringing in 5 people, well, how long are you really gonna last?
Well, that's the one thing I did with Machines of Penalty, is I wanted to get a good stage presence with banners, lights, whatever.
Right.
You know, because I didn't want to be a band that just went up on stage, did your show, got your money, and left. I wanted people to remember, like, oh, that's a band that had
Gotta make it an event.
this and that. You
Yeah.
gotta make them
More
remember.
bands need to
You
be
gotta.
It's a show, it's entertainment.
And that's exactly what, and I truly believe that it's the major part.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
music, they can like your music, but they gotta like the band.
You gotta be putting on a show.
Right.
It's
Well, absolutely
entertainment.
correct, because, like, you
Stage
know, I'm
presence,
a
yeah.
person
You
who
can't just
loves
play the
shows.
music, cause it's boring.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Because
To
and
watch
then when you
people
think
just-
about it, what band in the 80s is still around that everybody remembers?
Right.
It's Kiss.
Yeah.
They just marketed the hell out of
Marketing
everything.
whores.
Yeah.
For good or bad.
Oh yeah.
You know, but they are, and you know what? They're
But
the
they are
least
here.
talented.
Right.
They don't have the best skills. But guess what?
But they're still here.
They-
Well,
Yeah,
Well, no, not only that, the band that we were just talking about, the Misfits. Who doesn't know the Crimson Skull? You
Right.
know, and who doesn't wear it? Rappers wear it. You know what I mean?
Right.
They
So-
like the skull. It's marketable. They, you know.
Well, so
I would say their
Everybody,
stuff's more
right.
marketed than
But
actually
it's
people
even
heard the
Misfits,
song.
like-
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah. I talked to a
Black Flag
17-year-old kid, and I said, "Do you know who
Right
they
there.
are?" No.
Yeah. It's just that cool, the skull face.
Right, you see, you
And
know,
that skull wasn't even theirs. I mean, that was
Yeah,
stolen
but-
to begin with.
You know.
So, you know,
Oh,
I mean,
really?
it's funny.
Yeah, that's,
Wow.
it's an old movie.
But,
you know what I mean? It's old
But you know,
movies.
it gets
the
back to,
Crimson
like,
Skull
you know,
came
maybe
from.
you might want to start thinking about what you look like on stage.
Videotaping is
And-
Told you.
I mean, how many times have you gone to see a metal act and the guy's sitting there and he's playing a bazillion notes, but he's standing in the corner and he's like this, and
Right.
and like, big deal.
That's what I mean.
And you know
gotta
what?
put
You
on
You
a
gotta
show.
shake that head and wave that hair.
And
basically.
35% of the
Hey,
people
hey.
there don't even know what the hell you're doing.
Hey, I'll be there soon, all right? I got my own flight.
you're gonna be there a lot sooner than you expected, you know.
I think one of the good things that Sir Lovey does with the Nocturnal Witches Ball is he creates this environment. You know, it's not only him performing. You know, it's a suspension show. It's other things incorporated in with the music.
Other
It
kinds of.
gives
Of
other
entertainment
people
and
it gives other people another reason to come out.
One of the
you know.
things that I wanted to
It's a
tell you
full
guys
spectacle.
is, which is a really cool little thing. Get vendors.
Yeah.
Let them rent booths for $50 a whack.
There you go.
That pays off your freaking costs. Trust me. The other thing too is don't think about your band anymore. Think about what you would like to go see, what kind of event. Okay, so when I started thinking about the Nocturnal Witches Ball, I was the first one who brought in a suspension show, a fire act, all this stuff, and this is supposed to be for bands, and people are going, what the heck is this? But you know what? People sat there and they became so
much
freaking
eye candy.
entertained. They bought the stuff from the vendors, they watched the thing and said, when is this next event? And you know what? So what happened was I was building on that, and what I try to do is I'm one of those very few people who will actually pay a band, because I've been doing this. Because if you get vendors to offshoot the cost,
It's definitely always
yeah,
there.
I got a list of people that
I
come
floated
in
in
and
tattoo artists on my shows.
Yeah,
yeah,
tattoo
right,
artists.
right.
Basically,
And then if you have
tattoo
tattoo, like I have like
artists,
pinky
yeah.
skulls, I
There
have
we go.
clothing people, all sorts of stuff come in,
Airbrush-
and then they
February
just,
18th, the
and then-
Dingbats.
yeah, and then what you do is like, you say $50 a booth. They give you that goes right in your pocket.
Yep.
That goes right in your pocket.
Now, does the venue want to take, actually, you rent the
Yes, Mom.
venue, so then the venue doesn't want to take a cut off of
That's,
their merch?
that's the
then?
problem with doing an event
Because
like
actually,
that.
you're using
Finding
their
a
vendor
place that'll
places in
actually
order to be able to
let you
sell your
do that.
goods.
But you
Yeah,
know
we
what,
gotta
now-
take control.
But the other thing
If
too
you
is
rent
what's
it.
going to happen is if you start to create a buzz and become big enough, then you start telling them what you want. You know what I mean? As opposed like
Right, because they
like
see
we were
that you're
doing
worth
like what
that.
I was doing at Freddie. Like he let me in on the door for Dingbat. So what he did was he was working and he likes the whole event. So now this guy from New York goes, dude, I could use you. So I'm looking at a different a venue, you know, because he's seeing that, okay, you're just not this metal band that goes up there and just plays and does this stuff and then has the next metal act come up. You got something that people are just sitting there, they get up off their seat and they go up and go, wow. I mean, like, you know, I suspend myself. I mean, the thing is
Sound good.
yeah. And so, like, the thing is
Isn't that
like,
like cheating?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be able to do that, right?
what, suspension?
Yourself?
Well, no, I have people do it.
Okay. I thought you really meant you suspend yourself.
No, but the thing is
Fuck
like,
does that
so like when people sit there and they see that, that's not the norm. I mean, you know what? I hate to say this about metal bands and live bands and any kind of bands. We're all the same. Okay? Seen one, seen it all. I never saw that suspension show before. I never saw that guy light himself on fire.
Remember what it was?
You know, I mean, it's worth coming back to see that again.
Right.
You know, and so then what happens is you start building a venue like a freak show. It's like think of I thought of myself as vaudeville. Because we really are performers and entertainers. So why don't we become more like vaudeville?
The more
You gotta
eye
create
candy, the better.
Create that environment, create that show,
yes.
and find other people to help you build your show. Like what you were saying with the tattoo artists and stuff like
Sure.
that. You know, you put like maybe two bands on with some tattoo artists and something else, like, you know, somebody who sells leather, and put that show together.
That's
like,
Adrian.
Yeah,
Adrian
yeah.
already does that.
Well, like,
You know, like
the
the
chicks.
We have,
You want to bring the chicks into your gigs.
Oh yeah,
You hit the
definitely.
nail on the
Bring your
head.
chicks into
Ask
the
him
gigs.
how difficult it is to find places
Yeah.
that'll let him do that kind of shit.
A fashion show. Sounds weird,
I'll just
right?
go to the office.
But I did it, and there was just tons of girls there. And now at
really
the,
work for power.
at the point of where the fashion show, there's this girl
Really
named
hot merch
Kristen
girls
Costa who did the wings for the Victoria's Secret wings.
Right.
Yeah.
Says, can
All
I
right,
do a
guys.
fashion show with you? So the thing is what happens is, so you're bringing people in, and like you said, it's a business.
Yes. You gotta expand your
As
business.
much as you want to stay like not mainstream, and we want to stay undergrad, we don't want to apply the rules. Those rules are there, and it's really difficult, and you have to learn ways around it.
Sure.
But like renting even a campground, I just talked to somebody last week about renting a campground. It has electric, water, flatbed in there, have 15, 20 vans, you know, campground.
So I think that a lot of
Well,
you
no.
people know people that know things like Enya that works with me. I mean, she's like pivotal for me. She works for Victoria's Secrets, not at the store. She is Victoria's Secrets. Okay, so what happens is you find these people and they help you build, and you build such a big event. Like my event's not that big, but I envision like maybe 2 years from now it might be something to reckon with, and I can sit there and go, dude, I'll give you $500 to play. Because I'm also a musician. So my whole idea about the vendors and all this other stuff, like you were saying, giving back and helping the bands, is that I want to make enough money so I can pay good bands.
Okay, let's cut it there. We're going to break for 20.